Now, Cordlife's former group CEO, Poh Lan, has been arrested for potential breaches of the company's disclosure obligations. The private blood bank is under investigation for mishandling cord blood units last year. 4 directors have also been arrested. All 5 have been released on bail. Tan first joined the company in 2016. She quit the company last October, citing personal interests. Then, in November, the irregularities came to light. Ahead of today's arrest, the private blood bank said that it received a notice from authorities on Tuesday asking for documents and information. Cordlife's chief financial officer has also been asked to assist with investigations, but she has not been arrested or charged. 4 other directors, meantime, who are currently not based in Singapore, will also need to attend a police interview on the 2nd of April. Cordlife's board says that it will consider appointing new independent directors to serve as checks and balances to the company. For now, it says all directors will stay on as they are overseeing efforts to address operational lapses. Among them are 2 directors who disagree that those arrested are suitable to remain. Last year, it came to light that several Cordlife storage tanks were exposed to temperatures above acceptable limits. Cord blood units belonging to around 2,150 clients were damaged. Another 17,000 were possibly also affected. The firm was then suspended for 6 months in December. Cord blood is rich in cells that have been proven useful in treating some serious diseases. Cordlife says that it plans to strengthen its procedures and operations so that its suspension order can be lifted. In a letter to its shareholders, Group CEO Ivan Yu says that the company is focusing on a rectification plan and is working closely with the Health Ministry. The firm says that it wants to put in more stringent measures. These include seeking expertise from the Foundation for the Accreditation of Cellular Therapy to reinforce its procedures. It also wants a more advanced, digitalized lab monitoring system to improve the oversight of operations in real time, remotely and on site. Cordlife is aiming to fortify its fail-safe measures to ensure smooth operations, even under adverse conditions. The company says that it will ensure such corrective actions are sustainable. For the legal implications in this case, I'm joined now by corporate lawyer Nicolas Tang. He's managing director at Farallon Law Corporation. He joins us now on Zoom. Good evening to you, and thank you for making time for this interview. It's in such cases of disclosure breaches like this, what is typically investigated?
Well, in such cases, typically the CAD will need to interview the witnesses and also interview suspects. And they will also need to go through the evidence, in particular emails, internal communications, chat logs, to get to the bottom of it, to find out actually what happened and what they knew and what did they choose not to disclose. And therefore, the CAD can then determine whether anyone is liable or guilty. The CAD also will need to know whether the parties had acted in concert or whether there was only one particular individual who was in charge and called the shots. So this process does take time. And after the CAD has completed its investigations, they will need to escalate this matter to the AGC and to the MAS to take a decision as to whether the parties need to be charged.
So plenty of questions still need answers to them, Mr. Tang. But is it normal practice for directors who were arrested and are now out on bail to continue serving while under investigation? And specifically, how does that affect their performance? How is it going to affect the investigation?
Well, just because directors are charged, just because directors are arrested does not mean that they're guilty of any offense. So they actually can be allowed to continue running the company. Of course, in this case, it really depends on the facts, and we don't have all the facts, and we do not know what the directors actually did. So on a case-by-case basis, the company will need to assess whether the director can continue serving the company, or whether the director may have crossed the line and it will be better for them to excuse themselves or be suspended during that period. As to whether it affects their performance, one thing you should note is that CAD investigations are quite discreet and they also do not occur for a long period. In other words, the directors will be interviewed on the 2nd of April and they may be asked to produce certain information like their mobile phones, their emails, their documents, etc. And after that, they can go back to work. So the interview process is not so taxing and tiring that suggests that the directors will affect their work. So I don't think it will affect their performance.
Right. Well, the facts still need to be discovered here, Mr. Tang, but it has emerged, we understand, that the board is apparently divided on whether the directors who are out on bail should continue serving. What will that mean for affected customers who are perhaps still in limbo over all of this?
Well, we understand the board is divided, and there are also some shareholders who have certain views on which directors should be removed or replaced. But at the end of the day, the company is still operating. The CEO is very much in control, and the operations staff within the company can still manage the operations of Cordlife. The directors make key decisions, but it's not necessary for directors to be involved, to be making decisions every single day. And I think that the matter will be resolved internally so the parties can then continue to function properly. And I don't think that customers will be affected by this particular dilemma where the directors are in slight disagreement.
Nonetheless, Mr. Tang, do you expect investor confidence and accountability to be impacted by this corporate shake-up at the company?
Well, there's no doubt there's been some investor worries. The share price has been falling over the last few days. But I think that this is something that is still work in progress. All we know now, as what has been disclosed, is that the directors have been arrested and they've been out on bail. But we don't know whether the directors will be charged, because after the investigations are completed, it may well be the situation where the CAD will feel that no charges can be made out. So at this stage, I think it is premature to know whether there will be any negative outcome for the company. Of course, what we can say is that investors need to be careful with their investments and will need to consult their financial advisors or their stockbrokers to decide how best to manage their investments in the company.
All right, Mr. Tang, I'd like to thank you for your thoughts on this. Nicolas Tang, the MD at Farallon Law Corporation.